2003 saw the debut of an all-new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated series on the Fox network back when we still had Saturday morning cartoons. Unlike the memorable and popular 1980s cartoon, this newer series aimed to be more true to the original comics while taking some liberties to keep the content appropriate for younger audiences. It was successful, got a few years run, and of course the merchandising machine was in full swing here, and among said merch was a slew of video games. Hence today's subject matter, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the Game Boy Advance, released in 2004 by Konami and adapting the first season of the cartoon more or less. The format for this Ninja Turtles video game is different from past Turtles games. In the past, you would pick any one of your 4 Ninja Turtles and you would play through X number of levels or whatever the case may be. That's not how it works here because reasons. You have 4 turtles to play with, as expected, your usual gang of mutants. And not only do each of the turtles have their own strengths and weaknesses, but they also have their own set of 4 levels or acts as the game refers them to. Each turtle, or you know what, we'll call them episodes. So each episode has a different mini-arc which basically adapts part of the series. So Leo's episodes deal with the Mousers, Raphael's episode is his first encounter with Casey Jones, Donatello deals with invisible ninjas, and Michelangelo and the cavern levels and the mutant dragons can go fuck themselves. Once you clear all 4 acts, the episode is complete. Complete all 4 episodes and you'll unlock the final chapter where you get the face-off against the Shredder's top dogs before standing face to face with the big bad himself. For the most part, this is a typical side-scrolling platform beat-em-up thing, which basically involves the turtles moving about and beating the crap out of bad guys every so often, whether it be foot soldiers, purple dragons, or other things. On some occasions there will be instances of navigating through hazards such as laser beams, lava pits, and things of that nature. On the side you'll find crystals scattered throughout the level, which are not required to beat the level, but will unlock some bonuses if they're all collected. I guess, I don't know, I'm allergic to crystals, they make me sad. In addition to the standard levels, each turtle has a vehicle segment where they will ride a different vehicle, which subsequently results in different types of gameplay because, sure, why not? Leonardo drives some kind of sewer tank to Stockman's building while blasting away Mousers, Raphael's in a motorcycle race with Casey Jones, Donatello's hang gliding while avoiding mines and shooting down missiles, and Mikey is just skateboarding in the sewers collecting more crystals because sure, why not? Not bad for variety, I guess. Generally speaking, the game is fairly functional and straightforward. You've got a basic array of attacks, either through mashing the B button or in conjunction with the directional pad. You have your aerial attacks, a dash attack, a special attack that drains a bit of health, and you can even hold down the B button to execute a charge attack, which varies depending on how long you hold the button. But if you keep it held down for too long, your turtle will suddenly get tired, leaving him vulnerable to attack. Then again, your turtle is stationary and thus vulnerable while charging anyway, so I don't see the big deal, other than no payoff. The overall gameplay in general is not bad. 17 levels, multiple skill settings, the ability to save your progress, and there's even a password system useful for getting some goodies. It's not a bad package overall, it's functional, it's immediately accessible, it's familiar fare, and it has all the ingredients for a good Turtles game. But at the same time, the thing with the older Ninja Turtle games, especially the 2 arcade games because those are the ones people like the most. There was an almost stupid simplicity to those games that made them appealing and enjoyable to play. Whether you were playing this on your own or playing with 3 other players, there was a vibe and personality to those games that you'd overlook how simple and repetitive the overall gameplay was and just get into it. Now, Ninja Turtles on Game Boy Advance attempts to replicate that kind of experience while doing their own thing in terms of the style of play, but just lacks that essential spark that makes a competent brawler into a good, maybe even enjoyable one. So while the gameplay is functional, straightforward, and competently executed, it also has a tendency to drag and grow tedious as you progress onwards. The fights with the foot soldiers or purple dragons or Team Rocket or whoever, it all boils down to the same fight over and over again with just the setting changed a bit. And it starts to feel repetitive after the umpteenth fight, even when they do add obstacles to the mix such as lasers and other things. Even the boss fights are somewhat uninspired. It probably doesn't help that this game is a single player affair, which I'd expect to be a sore spot for some folks hoping for multiplayer turtle fun, but instead, they just get a shell shock or something, I don't know. Ninja Turtles makes a fair effort in replicating the art style of the animated series, and for the most part, it looks pretty good. The various turtles and enemy foot soldiers have that right size of being big enough to see, but not so big that they occupy the majority of the tiny GBA display. The animation's pretty smooth, the character sprites are clean looking, the 3D vehicle stages are not too shabby looking, and the levels are somewhat decent looking, even if they feel a bit samey after a while. Lots of browns and beiges and grays and stuff. It looks fine, I guess. The cutscenes are basic, comprising stock imagery of the various turtles and characters in various emotional states as the scene calls for it, and sometimes they'll use still images from the animated series itself while you flip through pages of text and exposition. A lot of the dialogue seems to have been taken from the show itself. While it's a nice bit of detail and exposition, I also wish they have trimmed these down or abbreviated these to a shorter runtime, because there's a lot of text to scroll through if you're trying to follow the story. Fortunately, for those who'd rather skip the story bits entirely, you could always press start to skip the sequences, so that saves a bit of time. Sound, on the other hand, is a sour spot here. Yes, they managed to fit in the entire 2003 theme song in there, and it's a near decent quality for what it's worth, but the rest of the game's soundtrack comprises otherwise forgettable MIDI tracks that are, well, otherwise forgettable. A far cry from past Turtles games that usually had some rather catchy and memorable tunes. Sound effects are also rather meh, although there are a couple grunts here and there, a couple of quick voice bites, so that's something, I guess. I suppose when it comes to sound quality in a Ninja Turtles video game, I'd expect a little more than just generic stuff. Apparently, in this regard, my expectations were a bit too high. The first Game Boy Advance outing of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a respectable one, a competently made brawler with some side levels to diverge from the beatings, and it does a respectable job of adapting the storyline of the first few episodes of the series into video game form. The gameplay is sound, the presentation is decent, it's a decent Turtles game released during a time when they were rather hard to come by. That having been said, I didn't really enjoy this one. The gameplay in general felt lackluster, the occasional bits of platforming came off as forced, the episodic format felt unnecessary, and it really didn't give me incentive to come back for more. It seems like they were trying to create something new while attempting to capture the vibe and feel of the old Turtles arcade games. It really doesn't work that well. Don't get me wrong, this is not a bad game. It's an okay game. It's perfectly playable, perfectly functional. But it's also a game that holds very little replay value, and it's basically something that, once you complete the game and all the side quests, if you could be bothered to do so, there's really no reason to come back to it. I'd say if you want a good Turtles game, this might be worth checking out. Find that combo cart that also comes with Battle Nexus, that's probably a better deal. But honestly, there are better options out there on other platforms.